When our ideas and way of thinking seem out of sync with who we are, with our time and our circumstances, how do we correct them? How do we bring about what our tradition calls tikkun? This year, the Schechter Institute published Rabbi Benjamin Siegel's wonderful commentary on the book of Ruth. He focused on Ruth as a tikkun, a prophetic corrective for the severity of Torah and the tragedy of the end of the period of Judges, a tale of a kinder and gentler society that never was, yet might have been, and perhaps could still be. There's a parallel incidence of tikkun in this week's Torah portion, Korah, in the Haftarah from the first book of Samuel, Shmuel. The author of Shmuel, as well as the rabbis who chose this section as the companion study for Korah, understood Shmuel's life and mission to be a corrective on the story of Korah and the failures of the judges. Korah leads a group of disgruntled Israelite leaders against Moshe and Aaron, demanding a more inclusive regime. The next morning, the earth swallows them up with little fuss or explanation, squashing their rebellion. The sages engaged mostly in apologetics for this harsh punishment, creating an image of Korah as a dangerous demagogue. The slow of speech Moshe and the peacemaker Aaron had no response for his populism, so the Lord had to step in. But the first book of Shmuel provides an alternative way of understanding the rebellion in the desert. Similarly, in his time, the prophet Shmuel faced a rebellion. The tribal leaders reject the leadership of the judges, demanding that Shmuel appoint a king to rule over them, like other nations. Shmuel rebukes them eloquently, but fails to convince. Then Shmuel, like his professor Moshe, complains bitterly about his ungrateful people. He's given his all to them and asked for nothing in return. Yet this time, rather than wiping out the rebels, the Lord instructs Shmuel to play the role of kingmaker and give the rebels what they want. The Haftarah picks up the story with the coronation of Shaul, Saul, the first king of Israel at Gilgal. Shmuel's speech there is a passionate renewal of the Israelite covenant with God. Toward the end of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers, we find out something. The children of Korah didn't die with the rebels. In fact, one of Korah's descendants, as per Divrei Hayamim Chronicles, was none other than Shmuel himself. On one hand, according to Psalms, Shmuel is the worthy successor to Moshe and Aaron. On the other hand, his lineage is from the discredited rival, Korah, suggesting an alternative view. This time, God's response to rebellion is to accept the will of the people and agree to the establishment of the Israelite monarchy following the disastrous period of lawlessness, civil war, and corruption under the judges. Hence the tikkun, or corrective, for the story of Korah. My parents always called me Eitan, Ethan in English, but that's my middle name. The name given to me at my Brit Milah and appearing on official documents is Shmuel, Samuel. My mother's uncle, Shmuel Shainerman, was a citrus farmer and agronomist, a founder of Moshav Kfar Malal in the Sharon region of Israel's coastal plain. He passed away the year before I was born, and I'm his namesake. My parents met at Kibbutz Magan Michael in 1951, where my father was a kibbutznik and my mother was a volunteer nurse from America. Soon after my mother returned to America, my father became very ill and went to the US for medical treatment. They met up again there, married, and raised my brothers and me in New York. A decade ago, long after my mother's death, and after I brought my frail father to Israel to live out his last years with us, I cleared out their New York apartment, where I found a drawer with old letters written to my parents in the 1950s and 60s. One of them, from my great uncle Shmuel, was written in 1954, just after my older brother was born. In it, he implored them to return home, explaining simply that Israel is the best place for Jews to raise their children. I've lived in Israel now for 4 decades. For many years, when people would ask me why I made Aliyah, my most frequent response to them was the same as Uncle Shmuel's explanation to my parents a generation earlier. Although my parents didn't follow his advice, by the time I discovered that letter, Anita and I had raised 4 wonderful children here in Jerusalem. Finding that letter has led me to think that whether we are aware of it or not, like the biblical stories of Ruth and Shmuel, our lives present us with opportunities for tikkun, to correct what should have happened long ago and didn't, but still could be, if only we would seize them. Shavua Tov from Schechter.